So I just want to explain to you about rulers and more specifically the artboard ruler origins. Now, in keeping with the old drawing board philosophy, Illustrator always had its ruler origins at the bottom left of every document, like the old parallel rulers, like I was saying, which sat at the bottom of the drawing board, and you move them upwards from there. And essentially, your set square would sit on that ruler to the left, and you slide it to the right across the board when measuring from left to right. So that philosophy was always that the measurements went from the bottom left of a document. However, in the digital world, people are very familiar with the ruler origins being top left. And while this has always been the case in Photoshop and InDesign and other programs, Illustrator remained with the old style. Now, this could get confusing when using position dialog boxes to specify where your items sat on an artboard, because moving something vertically down, for example, was numerically referenced as a minus number, given that 0 was already in the bottom left. So it was somewhat confusing, but thankfully in CS5, Illustrator now conforms to all the other Adobe programs and gives us the ruler origins in the top left. But we have two ways in which this can work. So inside our RGB document, what we want to do is go to View, go down to Rulers, and you can see Show Rulers. Standard command, Command R or Control R on the PC. Now, if we have that turned on and we've currently got Artboard 4 selected, this is the last one that we were working on, you'll notice if I just position my cursor on the upper left-hand side, you see it says 0, 0, but more importantly, look in the ruler at the top. Your 0 point here is lining up with that left-hand side, and your 0 here on the y-axis is also lining up, okay? Well, here's the cool change. If we click on another artboard, you'll see that the 0 origins now shift to match that particular artboard. If you're a previous user of Illustrator like I am, and this is very, very cool and very, very nice to know that, when you measure something on a page, your measurements are specific to that particular artboard. You're not trying to calculate across the board. However, you might be creating multiple documents together and you do want a measurement that maybe starts in the upper left here and goes all the way across, okay? These might be multiple pieces which are going to be stitched together at the end, and that might be just the way you need to work. Well, just so you know, it is here. If you go back to View, go down to Rulers, you can change to what's called Global Rulers. Okay, and you'll see that has now happened. So if we just came up here to the origin of our rulers and click and drag and maybe snap this down onto the top left hand side of our HD page, you'll see our zeros are now here, but you'll notice that it goes all the way across. There's no more zeros on any of the other documents. All right, so I just wanted to point that out to you. By standard, what we're really going to do is keep it set to artboard rulers. So do go ahead and change that, but know that that option is there for the future. Now we can press Command R, Control R on the PC to hide the rulers at this point, because it does give us a little bit more space to work with.